this is like a new youth movement coming in, especially in the championship horse.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I came to the Cup Series, it was the old versus new, and the old guys ruled with Harvick and Jimmy, and those guys were dominating races and Truex. So it was kind of a joke that the younger guys, kind of a joke that NASCAR promoted us so much. People were laughing at it, but we're here now, so it's cool. It's all the guys I grew up racing against, and I think all these guys are going to win multiple races a year for the next few years.
When you were talking yesterday about difficulties last week, when you look around, some of the guys that were up on top of the playoff seedings with you and maybe in wins and seeding didn't make it this far, but you guys did. I mean, what does that say about like either the format or how difficult it is to truly get here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all these guys got hot at the right time, and that's what the playoffs are about. I looked at a lot of stats about the playoffs this year, and the final four that we have here are really the top four in all the stats. So it's very interesting how that works out, and the fact that you pretty much got the best four teams going at it. So it's it's not the regular season guys that I kind of battled with necessarily, but when the playoffs started, these guys were the best.
And does it kind of show you that yes, it's important in the regular season, but at the end of the day, what you do in the playoffs is kind of the big determiner?
Yeah, it's what counts for sure. I think it really showed me this year. The season we had throughout the regular season was great, but we had to really reset ourselves and go after it in the playoffs. So it's definitely something to think about in the future years of how we approach the season, of just, hey, look, it's we want to be good all year, but we definitely want to be good in the final 10.
You said you were getting updates in the race last week, and you kind of got down a little bit while you were falling back or whatever.
Yeah.
What about this week? Do you want to know? Do you want to hear what's going on?
I'll know. I'll know. I'll see the yellow spoilers, and I'll know. But it's different this race. There's no more counting points. There's none of that kind of BS out there. So it's all about trying to just beat all the guys straight up, and I like that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to battle straight up, and you just got to know that final run's really what counts.
How much of it is a mental game? How much of it is not panicking? And we saw that last week with you. You started to, but you did not panic. You and your team did not panic. Talk about that. Talk about what it means to, mentally, this is a big part of it. You're all great racers.
Yeah, it's just staying cool and staying collected and trying to give the information that we need to be there at the very end. What do we need for the last final run of the race? That's what's key. So I'm gonna talk about that with my crew chief, talk about as we get further in the weekend, how do we position ourselves for that final stop and that final run, and that's all that counts. It's just if you can lead the last lap, that's all that really matters. So I think it's different than the few weeks in the past where there has been panic, because you've been counting points and you've been looking at stages, and stages mattered probably last week more than the end of the race did. So it's really an interesting format, and I've been educated on it this year of just what really matters. But this race is all about the final run.
It's one other follow-up on that. Rudy said that he made more changes during the race at Martinsville than he has done in 20 years in his career, and that blew me away. What's that like for the driver when the crew chief is making more changes during the race than he's done in 20 years? What was that like, and how unnerving is that for the driver?
Yeah, I think he was scrambling for sure, but that's why we have such a good relationship, because I trust him, and I trusted him to make the right decisions and improve the car, and he did. So, I looked at some stats last week. As bad as we were a top 7 car in the final run of the race, and we finished 13th from 22nd. So I think we were a lot better at the end, and that's what I rely on him, is trying to get the car better.
So Rudy told me that trust is part of why you guys work so well together, but he also said it's your relationship, how you talk about football, fantasy football, anything other than golf. Do you give more insight into that relationship?
We talk about a lot of stuff. We BS a lot, and we text a lot. It's funny. He's a funny texter. I'll send him a long paragraph of things, and he'll say 10-4. So he's he's the kind of guy. He takes a lot of information in, and we work well together because I can be a sounding board to him, and he can learn from what I'm saying and try to make the car better. So we spend a lot of time during the week just talking about the car and talking about what we need on the weekend.
You know, when I talked to him last, he said your guys' teams were tied in fantasy football. Who's winning now?
I don't know. Let me look. It's I think he's.
It was very important to him when I was talking to him about it.
Yeah, I think he's up in the standings, but we're actually playing this week. That's actually hilarious. We're playing against each other. So our league is it looks like I'm third and he's tied. Well, we're all tied for second. So
Okay.
he's 5-3 and I'm 5-3. So
Will a championship mean more? Will rectify whether or not you win or Rudy wins a fantasy?
No, I mean, if there's one week that we probably don't give a hoot about fantasy, it's this week. So it's funny we're playing each other. I'll have to mess with him on that.
William, when I interviewed you when you were in high school for a Charlotte Observer article, and you told me your friends did not understand your interest in racing. Have you heard from any of them now that you're up for the championship 4, and if so, what have they said?
Yeah, my close friends they're all coming out to this race. So we got an Airbnb in Phoenix, and I've got 3 of my best friends coming. So I'm excited for that. It's gonna be fun to have them here. They've been to races here and there. I'd say the most recent was probably Charlotte that they came to, but it's gonna be cool to have them here. It's great. You know, I got a lot of support coming for the race, so I'd say it's awesome to have all the people I love and care about.
Did they ever say, we didn't understand them, but we do now, and we're proud?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely gotten educated on the sport. I mean, it took a long time. I get questions about the point system or questions about, fuel strategy, tire strategy, all those things, and just driving the car. But it's cool. They're pretty educated now.
Thank you.
Given the championship, why do you think it'll be celebrated?
Why?
Yeah, if you guys win the championship, why is that?
I think just a culmination of a lot of hard work. I feel like the odds were stacked against us and me, the odds were stacked against me, the kind of the iRacing kid that come in, doesn't know how to drive real cars and hasn't ever raced, until he was 15. So I feel like the odds were against me to have this kind of success when I came in the sport, and I got a lot of criticism because of how I kind of came in, and I think it'll be a kind of a prove-it moment to all those critics.
And on that note, I mean, you've kind of already been a trailblazer in that respect anyway. But now winning the championship, though, like you said, it kind of solidifies that and shows, hey, this is the path. What do you think that's going to do if you do win the championship for that genre, if you will, and open the doors?
I think it should inspire kids to go after what they want to do, what they want to achieve. I mean, when I told people, when I was 11, 12 years old, and I told people in my school that I wanted to be a race car driver, they thought I was ridiculous for saying that. And then I think people, when I started racing online, people didn't believe that I was the best or the best driver. And I just kept working at it and kept getting better and better. And I felt like I had a natural ability to drive. And when I got into real cars, it showed. And then at the same time, when I kind of worked through the ranks, people in the late model ranks were telling me, man, he's not earned it, or he's not worked hard, he's not done it the way we've done it, working in the shop and all those things. And I just kept putting my head down and working and trying to get to this level.
When you won the Xfinity title in 2017, you're the only one so far to win the championship without winning the race in that series. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's happened. It's been a perfect 9 for 9, and the champion winning the race since the Cup went to elimination format. Do you feel it's going to take a win once again for the 10th time in a row?
Yeah, I think honestly it'll take winning the race, because it has every year. So I don't expect anything different, but it'll probably be a very long race, and we'll have to work through a lot of challenges. But I assume that all 4 of us will be up there with that final run going to the checkered. So last year was different for sure. I think the first year with the next gen, there was a lot of unknowns, and you didn't really have the Final Four running up front all the time. But I think this race you will.
Thank you.
As a
Larson
driver,
and Bell have had time to prepare, obviously, with their wins. You didn't get into Martinsville. Were you able to do any Phoenix prep prior to that?
a little bit. I think we always kind of had an eye on Phoenix based on what we did in the spring, but we just tried to continue to perfect what we've done. And honestly, the spring we had a really fast car, so we just tried to perfect it.
Do you think that the lack of application of rosin for this race is going to make a difference in the way the track races?
Not really. I think the groove will still have some of that resin that was still left up top, and so I think there's still going to be some grip to go chase up there. I think it'll be. I think you'll have the bottom be dominant at the start of the race for sure, and then it'll kind of migrate up, and then it'll probably be both lanes at the end.
William, what do you? This is the youngest championship for in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. What do you make of that? And will Sunday be a time when the next generation of NASCAR is kind of put on display?
Yeah, I think it kind of has been that way. I feel like all these guys have won multiple races for the last couple of years, and we've all been really competitive. So I feel like it's definitely been that way for a little bit. I've been racing these guys for a while, and it's nothing new to be racing them at the front.
This is Austin Dillon, driver of the Bass Pro Shops Chevrolet. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also check out one of those 2 videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.